Welcome to the Unknown Angler. This is just a quick video about some of the UV resins I've been using, or UV cured glues, whatever you want to call them, that I've been using on some of the flies that I've been tying recently. And I wouldn't say recently, over the last couple of years, I guess. Of course, off to the left-hand side there is loon. Loon's probably the most common one you'll find. It's also the most expensive you'll find too. It's great stuff. Use it all the time. Cures very well under the regular hand UV flashlights. Cures pretty quickly. It's thin stuff. It gets in there. Really nice stuff. It's about $15 for that little jar you see right there. That also has a nifty little brush applicator in it, so it top comes off. It's got a nice nifty brush applicator. These are UV glues. You can find them on Amazon. This is called UV glue. It's an interesting name, huh? There's a thin version, there's a thick version. I use both of these. They're about $7 a piece. They're great stuff. They cure very quickly under UV light. Very, very fast curing. Both of them, both the thick and the thin. Probably a little bit faster curing than the loon, which makes it probably a little less quality. If you've worked with epoxies, and I've worked with a lot of epoxies over the years on a lot of flies, you'll find out the fastest curing ones tend to yellow over the years. Now, if you're tying flies that you're using almost immediately, and you tie them 1 year, you use them 1 year, you lose them 1 year, that's fine. I've had flies in my fly box that have been there for 3-4 years, and you can tell the ones I've used 5-minute epoxy on, or the really fast cure UV glues on, because they do yellow. Not that hurts the fishability, but it certainly hurts the way they look. The last and not least, I've just started using. This stuff is super cheap. It was $11 for this whole bottle. It is not sold under fly tying stuff. It's called Untitled. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Untitled UV resin. And it's potting resin. And what potting resin is basically, they make jewelry out of it. They make, if you want to take a whole bunch of shells from the beach, and they put them in a little round dish, and then you pour this over them, you lay it out in the sun, and it cures. But it takes a long time to cure, and it doesn't cure really quickly. Stays pretty tacky, but it doesn't cure really quickly under the flashlights. The cure for that, no pun intended, every pun intended, the cure for it is to use a UV lamp. And you can buy cheap $10-15 UV lamps for doing nails. I'll show you. This is a UV curing lamp. It works great. When you put your hand under there, it's for doing your nails. When you put your hand under there, it turns the lamp on. Basically, what you need to do is you take your fly, you coat it with the epoxy. Usually I take that fly and I cure it as much as I can with the flashlight, which takes 15-20 seconds, and then I'll put it under there and leave it under there for a minute and let that harden up and cure up. And after a minute, that becomes really, really solid. So it allows you to use a very cheap epoxy that has a very, very slow cure time, which stays crystal clear for a long time. And well, there's benefits to all of that. If you do decide to get the cheaper UV epoxy or UV resin, I also go in and I buy these nice little bottles off of Amazon too, and they're nice in that they have an applicator brush, and this one actually has glue in it, but and you fill them with the UV resin, so you have small bottles laying around. I get the brush applicators. I also get the needle applicators with the small needle on top. These work great. They're really cheap. I think it was $9 for 10 of the small needle applicators, and it was I think it was $8 or $9 for the brush applicators. Make sure you get the ones that are opaque, not the clear ones. This is UV cure, which means if you leave it out in light, it's going to cure, so it'll get solid in the bottle. So you need to make sure you get the bottles that are totally opaque, not the clear bottles, the ones that are black. They're like nail polish bottles. Also, you can actually take paint you buy in a craft store and you can color your epoxies with the paint. I'll do another video on that, but then you can have different colored epoxies that you can actually use for your flies. Thanks for asking me to pay that kind of price. If you can afford it, it's worth it. It's worth every penny of it. I'm not saying Loon isn't good. Loon's good stuff. It's great stuff. But for $11 and buy a little lamp, UV lamp, it's might be worth the investment to buy the UV lamp and use the UV resin on the right. Anyway, that's it. See you next time.